Tim reminded me today at lunch that we will be 10 years on the focus group in March of 2018. So, and that's going to be here before we know it, right? But I remember distinctly that you and I came from a culture, and for no other reason than simply it was the way we described the market. It was the gay and lesbian market.
Yep. Well, because that's what the consumer was,
and that's what
identified by
they're gay or lesbian, exactly. And the minute you started adding, and we had questions asked of us by corporations like, what is this B and this T, and how do, and are we talking to them? And look, I'm not saying anything bad. But when we first came on the air, we had a consultant literally almost drag us by our ears out of the booth and pointing the finger at us. You have to say this, this, and that. And we're like, we're not used to saying that. We don't disagree with it. I mean, I have no problem with it. And so eventually, though, someone else further down the chain said, okay, here's a distinction that you might want to think about when you're talking broadly on a news article or we're talking about the community. The community wants to be identified as LGBT. When you're talking about your business experience, you can say the gay and lesbian consumer market. I mean, there are you don't have to go back too far to a library to pull out studies of the gay and lesbian,
Right.
So even since we've been on the air doing the show, the notion of how we even talk about ourselves has evolved and changed, and it's hard to keep up with it because sometimes I don't get it. Like, no one did a poll, and I don't mean to be an ass about this, but no one came and said, do you mind if we tack on QIA? Was there something? It's like the flag in Philadelphia when they decided to add the two new stripes. Like, is that really, do we really need to get that?
Well, that was, again, because that was all, again, this white privilege, is that the gay culture was co-opted by white males.
But the flag was never about...
We all know that. But that
apparently we don't all know that.
That was the argument.